Check them out. Folks, be sure to do your part to keep this airport clean and reduce waste today. Toss your plastic bottles into blue recycling bags conveniently located throughout the grounds next to the regular trash receptacles. You can learn more about reducing waste from the Cuyahoga County Solid Waste District at its website. They are on the World Wide Web .cuyahogaswd.org. Make Cleveland a little greener today by doing your part. All right, low to your left, you'll see it here, one of the most beautiful sights and beautiful sounds in the world today. As the sound of the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine built by the Packard Motor Car Company in Detroit, Michigan, fades off on your right. For you pilots, the power setting on takeoff that Blotto had was 55 inches of manifold pressure and 3,000 RPM, where he is burning 160 gallons of aviation fuel per hour. Now that power will come back just a little bit. As he starts some of his maneuvers, he'll bring it back to what he calls METO power, 2,500 RPM and 44 inches of manifold pressure. Now the P-51 is an amazing airplane that came out in World War II. It did so many things. It was a perfect airplane for so many different tasks. Over 15,000 of the aircraft were built in the world today. We only account for 300. Of those 300, there are only about 80 to 90 that can actually fly or are airworthy to fly. When you see one in the air and hear it in the air, it is a rare opportunity indeed. The man who's It is a V12 engine devised by the Rolls-Royce Company and built under mass production by the Packard Motor Car Company of Detroit, Michigan during World War II. They did modifications to the airplane engine and made it better. Now, Blotto is upside down. He's completed about 5/8 of a loop. Now he'll roll the aircraft right side up. The Cuban 8 was first done by Len Povey. He was at an aerobatic contest in Miami in 1936 or 37, depending on whose history you read. He was going up to do a loop like this. When he got to the top of the loop, he looked at the ground and he said, "I'm too low. I don't want to crack up my crate." And that was his quote. So here's what he did. Rather than complete the loop and put himself in jeopardy, he just rolled it out on a 45-degree downline. He did exactly what Blotto just did. When he got on the ground, Jimmy Doolittle, who mentioned it again, was the chief judge. He said, "Povey, what was that? We've never seen it before." Povey said without hesitation, "Well, Jimmy, that's a Cuban 8, because at that time, Len Povey was the chief aerobatic instructor for Batista's Cuban Air Force. And out of respect for the great Len Povey, we have continued to name that maneuver the Cuban 8 from that day to this. Setting up now for what we call the reverse Cuban 8. First you pull up, then you roll the aircraft upside down, then you bring the stick back into your lap. Now again, looking for a target speed of 310 miles per hour. Part of the beauty of a P-51 is the sound of that V12 engine. You hear the whistle of the air going through the radiator. So gentle. About a 2 to 3 G loop. Back in World War II, they called this the P-51, the cat black in the skies. Let's give it up a big round of applause for your P-51 built by the North American Aviation Company. The 1944 Senate Subcommittee on Aeronautics said this is the most perfectly designed pursuit, meaning fighter airplane, that the Americans ever built. Part of the key was the laminar flow wing. The other part was the engine. You'll see on the bottom of the airframe, underneath the wing, it will have a big scoop. It is a liquid-cooled engine like your car or truck. That's where the whistling is set up. It is a radiator. It provides drag. A it a small jet engine. There is the barrel roll, done precisely and deliberately the way it was done by the pros in World War II. Getting ready to take an airplane like this one or others into the dogfight arena. Vlado Lenik is smooth. He's got thousands of hours of flight time. He is a great guy to be around. He is also proficient in many other warbird aircraft like the A-37 jet, the L-39 jet, the T-33 jet, the P-40, the P-47, this airplane, the P-51. Pull the power back, his target speed will be back to 250 miles per hour. Up goes the nose, and ever so slowly, which is difficult to do, the Maestro paints this slow roll in the sky, just barely moving. This guy is an artist as much as he is a pilot and a gentleman. Give Vlado Lenik and the P-51 baby death a big round of applause. It was made in Van Nuys, that is the airplane made in Van Nuys back in '44, delivered to the Air Force in '45, delivered to the Swedish Air Force later in 1945, in 1953 delivered to the Dominican Air Force, and from the Dominican Air Force went into civilian hands where it has been for a number of years. Back in World War II, these airplanes cost the government about $50,000. Folks, as I survey the brokers that deal with selling and buying warbirds, the price of a P-51, either side, of $2 million. Oh, that's hard to see. Now you can only hold that upside down for about 11 seconds before oil is not going into the prop blade and you lose control of the pitch of the propeller blades. Vlado soloed back in 1970 at the famed Chicago Midway Airport. Flight instructor, 3,000 hours in the P-50. Just a few feet off the sagebrush outside of Reno, Nevada at the Stitt Air Base. This was the environment he was in. No, he was not alone. He was surrounded by other fast airplanes who are trying to get to the checker pylon first and to win the gold. High speed, low altitude pass. Vlado comes from an aviation background. He is Czech by heritage, and his great uncle had a chance to hear the sound and to get a photo opportunity. Listen. See that scoop on the bottom? I'll continue the story about that. In most airplanes that would create drag, but in North American aviation, Jim Baker is the pilot from Denver, Colorado on that B-25, captain for United Airlines. Off in the right seat, flying co-pilot, Paul Reedy from Medina, Ohio, retired Continental Airlines captain. They're going to go up and join Vlado. Been harvesting, courtesy of Roger Crawford, our pyromaniac, and his great crew, harvesting gasoline and dynamite. Now with a B-25 bomber being covered by Vlado Lenik, they're going to come in and we're going to blow this joint up. We'll have several passes. They will be coordinated, so get your eyes and cameras ready. Mitchell bomber. Now that bomber is reminiscent of the type that Jimmy Doolittle and his Raiders used on the attack on Japan. Just down the road at Port Clinton, Ohio. Bomb bay doors are open. Let's get ready to have some air show fun. Than many of our fighters were. It had blistering firepower. The sound that you heard was as much musical sound as the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. They are Wright engines. They have virtually so great music. Strafing run, as the pilots would do coming back from the aerial dogfight. If they had anything left to give to the enemy on the ground, they would pass over the enemy field, try to take out aircraft on the ground, fuel dumps, ammunition centers, anything they thought could help the enemy, they would try to destroy it. Go in once, go fast, use up your shells, but don't come back in again because they will have their guns trained on you. Most of the pilots did that. The ones that came back for a second time usually ended up being shot down. If they lived, they were POWs. You just wanted to do as much harm to the enemy as you possibly could, but you had to restrict yourself so that you and your airplane would live to fight another day. Of the blistering cannons and firepower, all right, here we come in. The bomb bay doors are open. More pyro, more gasoline, more dynamite, more air show work. We're doing all this without... Airport manager for many years, our good friend Dan Peasheimer, said, Dan, we're going to take over on the other side of the smoke. All right, now folks, we have the wall of fire coming up. Now, remember where those blasts were going off. That's where the wall of fire will be. So direct your camera so that you see a little bit of the surface of the earth at the bottom of your lens, but mostly up into the sky. Try to center it there, and you will get the best shot that is, of the 500-foot wall of fire. With long-range tanks on the P-51 Mustang, they had the ability to carry approximately 500 gallons of fuel for 8 hours. Is going to go in. The rest is up to you. Folks, you can't have anything but fun here at the Cleveland National Airshow. Let's give it up for the freedom of America. We're Americans. This is the ground display aircraft. Here comes an attack mode with Vlado flying the wing or cover for the B-25. Again, a rare aircraft. Not that many of those are actively flying. You know, for these airplanes, parts are hard to come by. Quite often, aviation. He's a very solid aviation fan. He owns a couple of P-51s, and he's an expert, of course, fabricator, machinist, engine builder. He is actually building components for aircraft like the P-51 and its engines to keep both of his aircraft flying and to help the P-51 and or Rolls-Royce Merlin Packard engine community to keep their aircraft flying. We would like to offer the Big Air Show thank you to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Watercraft Division. The Ohio DNR staff played a big part in our water safety efforts here throughout the public area marine control. All throughout the weekend, they're providing that service. Again, our thanks to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Watercraft Division. This show being hosted by Discount Drug Mart since 1969, saving you the runaround by giving it that way. There's a great photo opportunity. Robert Mitchum was in that movie as well. Van Johnson, great actor we lost about 3 years ago. Robert Stack from the movie Airplane and also the Untouchables also did a serious role in that movie. 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, based on the book, the best-selling book of the same name. Cleveland National Airshow would like to give a big thank you to a number of the military groups which have helped to bring the air show to you this weekend. They are the 178th Intelligence Group stationed at the Wright-Patterson and Springfield Air Force bases, the 179th Airlift Wing stationed at the Mansfield Air National Guard base. And before we do that, we'd like to acknowledge Voss Aerospace. They are proud to host the F-22 Raptor demonstration. Voss, located in Cleveland, Ohio city neighborhood, Voss manufactures highly engineered components critical to many of the aircraft you see here today. Boss is proud to be a part of the world's most remarkable engineering successes, and Boss is from Cleveland, Ohio.